I've been looking for an HDMI monitor that I could use in my teleprompter build. This teleprompter is specifically inspired by DSLRvideoshooter.com, and I kind of have in mind to build a set with which I can podcast interview type videos, but using a high quality camera in a teleprompter so that I can look people in the eye whilst also being filmed all the while. Now, this teleprompter is really fun, and it is really cool to use once you have all the things dialed in. This is something that I'm still building out, and this video right here is not going to be about the teleprompter itself, but instead about two monitors that I've tested for this setup. Now, if you're wondering about the video quality of this specific video, this is all filmed on my iPhone 11 Pro Max, and that's due to the fact that I am having issues with my Canon EOS R. You can check out my latest video about that, where I go into depth what happened and also how I'm trying to resolve it and all that good stuff. But for now, let's focus on those two monitors and have a look how they're different, how they're maybe the same, and also which one might be the right for you. One important point is that both of these monitors cost under $200, and that was one of the big deciding factors for me to really look into these. I wanted something that is reasonably priced, but still gives me great functionality and a good feature set, and especially good brightness for the use in a teleprompter. Now, the first monitor that I got for this test is this one right here, and this is called a Prechen. And it is all in Chinese on the back except for the menu buttons at the top right here. Now, this monitor is mainly marketed as an external gaming or work monitor so that you can have an extension to your, for example, laptop whilst on the go. Now, all that is nice. However, I personally find that it is relatively thick, even though it is relatively lightweight. But it gives you a nice size. This is basically an 11-inch display, and it also features up to 1080p in its display capabilities. Now, all that comes with the ability to have a VGA as well as an HDMI in port right here. You also can hook up your headphones to the monitor, but it also has speakers built in. And last but not least, you have to have power. This is a 12-volt 2-ampere plug-in, so you have to provide that right here. All of this makes this, in my opinion, not really a travel-friendly mobile display. However, it might still be an interesting one if you want to have something that is relatively cheap. This monitor right here costs around 94 euros at the time of the recording, and I think for what you're getting here, that's pretty spectacular. Now, something I find really cool here is that you have a tripod mounting screw at the bottom of this monitor, and then at the back you have these VESA mounting plate, basically screws here, so that you could put this on a kind of like a stand situation that you have on your desk, so that you have this, for example, overhanging somewhere and use that for your setup. Now, in terms of what comes in the box for this monitor, basically you get a little bit of a stand right here, which is a really flimsy one, and I don't know if you would want to trust it at all, but at least you have something that you can prop it up with. Then, of course, you have a charging cord, and as I've mentioned, this is this 12-volt 2000 milliamp, and that's that. And then lastly, we have a HDMI cord, which is just a normal HDMI to HDMI cord. However, something that I also want to point out with this monitor, just in case you are wondering if that happens to you as well, I got this monitor in a packaging which is a completely different product. This one here features some kind of interfaces. It supposedly is a low energy consumption and comes with a little bit of a case that you can flap your monitor into. So I have no idea what exactly happened there, but I'm pretty sure something got mixed up. Now, I didn't like a few things about this monitor. It is really nice and big, and if you're looking for that, then that's great. However, for the use in the teleprompter that I am building here, and I'm going to go into depth with that in a different video, this is just too big. My teleprompter really doesn't use the sides on this one, and in that case, this just doesn't make any sense for me to use. But the other thing with this monitor is that it isn't quite bright enough for use in a teleprompter, at least not in the one that I have right here. And that is that the brighter the image is displayed on the monitor, the better you will see the reflection on the teleprompter for yourself. And of course, your camera won't really see that. And that's magic in itself, but also a topic for another day. And one more thing that I was really upset about with this monitor, and maybe I shouldn't be because it wouldn't be weird for me to expect this feature in a normal just monitor or display for laptops and external things and stuff like that. This monitor right here does not provide the ability to mirror or flip your image. And this is again a specific use case, for example, for the use in a teleprompter, but it's really helpful to be able to do that. Now, this is something that sadly, and I've tried looking this up, does not work in software on macOS, for example, if I want to use this as an external monitor on the teleprompter and then flip the image around. So this monitor here doesn't have that feature. My computer doesn't do it in software, so this wasn't really going to work anyways. Another thing here is that you really don't find any information about the company. I had a hard time to really look into those things. Now, with all of those weird things going on, I was looking for another alternative, and what I found is the Feelworld monitor. This right here is a apparent 4K monitor, but it just inputs 4K and it does not display 4K. But this is a camera monitor, which is specifically built for use on top of camera rigs as an external monitor. It has all kinds of features like focus peaking as well as waveforms and all of those kind of things. And it basically is a smaller, cheaper version of the Atomos Ninja V, considering that the Atomos Ninja V also can record things, which this monitor is not made for. This is just a monitor. However, this right here costs around 150 euros, and with that is just 50 euros more expensive than the other one. However, this, for me in the camera world, gives me much more capabilities. For one, this monitor can take batteries as a power source, but I can also remove this plate at the back here and not have that, but instead provide power with the same 12 volt 2000 milliampere power plug. This monitor also features a HDMI in as well as out, so you can route the signal through and you can use it further down the chain. This monitor also features way more functionality in the menus, and with the buttons here, you have two fast access buttons right here on the left side. Those two are customizable and you can add different functionalities to these buttons, for example, to disable and enable false color or the histogram or focus peaking. And I have one of these set to actually be the flip functionality so that I can quickly change the flip. And last but not least, you have a mounting screw at the bottom as well as at the top. And in the box, you actually get a tiny little tripod head, which you can use to mount this and angle it anyhow you want. One thing to note, however, is that this monitor does not come with the battery, and it also does not come with any way of charging or basically powering it with an external power source. So you will have to purchase this additionally yourself. Now, comparing these two, it is kind of obvious that the size difference is pretty significant. Basically, you have about twice, maybe even 2.5 times more monitor for less money with this one right here. However, this monitor right here has way more functionality for a video person. This one here has the ability to be charged or used with battery power. And of course, it has the HDMI pass-through, which this one does not feature. Now, if you want to get all of these features in this monitor, you could have some kind of way of an adapter plate for the powering. You could also have some kind of a splitter cable in front of this one so that you run the signal into the splitter and then here, and then you run it somewhere else. This would basically give you the pass-through option. But what you can't change is that this here just doesn't give you the brightness and also not having the flip functionality. For me, as I've mentioned, this right here is probably going to be a way better monitor because it has those features that I want to use and can use in all kinds of different setups, but it also gives me the flip feature for the teleprompter, and it is kind of the perfect size. Maybe an inch bigger would be great. This here is a 7-inch monitor, maybe 8-inch would be nice, but at least this way I can see what I'm projecting into the teleprompter. Lastly, I want to mention that this Feelworld monitor actually comes in a box that actually shows the same product instead of the other one, which for whatever reason has a different box than the product actually is. Then also with the Feelworld monitor in the box, you get this little tripod head, which you can basically put on a cold shoe of your camera, for example, to mount it there. You also get a HDMI to HDMI cord so that you can connect everything up. Some kind of screw situation right here, which I have no use for, at least not yet. But what I find really cool and useful is that you actually get a little bit of a shade thingy that you can put on top of the monitor, and that way have much better viewing, especially if you're outside in direct sunlight and you want to also be able to see what you are filming. This is something that I have not unpacked yet, so I can't really say anything about the durability. The frame is plastic, the rest kind of looks like it is some kind of plastic as well as fabric mixture. But this is not what I'm going to use it for right now, so I'm not going to further comment on this. Now this video had to be produced pretty quickly because this monitor right here actually is going to be sent back today. So that's why all of this is kind of put together the way it is. I hope you can bear with me as long as I need to get my big camera back from repairs, and fingers crossed that it actually is able to be repaired and fixed up so that I can continue making high quality videos for you as soon as possible. However, I don't want that let control me, so I am making videos with this setup. And as I've mentioned in the last video, this is also an interesting challenge for me to get used to this again, to kind of like feel how this kind of situation works if you don't have a full frame mirrorless camera at your disposal. Now that's everything that I have for you today about the Prechen and Feelworld monitor. You will probably see more about the Feelworld monitor in the coming weeks as I get to know this monitor and also build it into my teleprompter setup. Now, if this video was helpful for you, please give it a thumbs up so that other people may find this information as well. And if you're not subscribed yet, maybe do that as well so that you don't miss out on any of the upcoming videos. And please bear with me as long as I don't have my Canon EOS R and video quality is what it is. Now lastly, stay motivated, do your thing, no matter what life throws at you, and I will see you in the next video. Ciao, ciao!